Welcome back, everyone, to Daily Harmony, our journey through A Course in Miracles. It's been a while now we've been doing this, and
It really has.
it's been pretty amazing, hasn't it? Like all this stuff that's been coming up. Last time when we were looking
Oh,
at,
yeah, yeah.
kind of wrapping our heads around acknowledging the previous lesson as part of the journey, it almost feels like it was setting us up perfectly for today.
It's all connected, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Because today, we're taking a deep dive, a real duck dive into lesson 125.
Okay, here we go.
And the title of it just jumps right out at you, In quiet, I receive God's word today.
It's a powerful one.
It is, it is. And I think, at first glance, people might think, oh, okay, another lesson about being quiet and peaceful, which, we see a lot in the Course.
Mm.
But this one, to me at least, it feels like it really goes deeper.
Right.
And it's almost like it's saying it's not just, about feeling good or relaxed, but that this quiet is actually like the key, the real key to tapping into this whole other level of understanding.
That's right. Like it's the pathway.
It is. It's a pathway, exactly. It's a pathway to this kind of guidance that I think we all sense is there, right? It's like it's always available, but we're so bombarded with other stuff that
It gets drowned out.
it gets totally drowned out. Yeah. And I was thinking about this, sometimes that phrase, God's word, can be a little,
I know what you mean.
it can throw people off. Like, especially if they're new to the Course, they might think, oh, is this like some big voice booming down from the sky?
Yeah. Fire and brimstone.
Yeah, exactly. But the way I see it, the way the Course seems to use it, it's much more about this inner knowing, like that really clear intuition that you get when your mind is quiet, when it's not,
When it's not all jumbled up.
exactly, when it's not all jumbled up. It's almost, I don't know, it's like, have you ever tried to listen to like a really delicate, quiet song,
Oh, yeah.
but you're in the middle of like a construction site?
Uh-huh. Good luck with that.
You're never going to hear it. You got to get away from all that noise to really appreciate that delicate sound.
That's a great way to put it. It's like we have to shift our frequency.
Yeah, I do.
Get out of the static of all that everyday chatter and tune into something much deeper.
Yeah, and it's not even just about, reaching this place of peace as the goal.
Right.
It's almost like this lesson is saying, hey, that peace, that inner quiet, that's part of how you get there in the first place.
It's the journey and the destination.
Exactly. It's both. And it's a real challenge because, our whole society, it's so geared toward this go, go, go.
Constantly doing.
Doing, looking for answers outside of ourselves, scroll, 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 search, search, search. And this lesson is like gently, nudging us, saying, hey, the really important stuff, it's already in you.
Turn inward.
Turn inward, yeah. And I think, it's important to clarify that, when we talk about quietness here, it's not just about like the absence of sound.
It's a different kind of quiet.
It is. It's a much more active kind of stillness, isn't it?
Absolutely, because, you can be in a totally silent room, no noise whatsoever, but still have your mind going a mile a minute.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
So the quiet we're talking about here, it's this inner sanctuary, a space of mental peace, where you can really be receptive. It's about, like, actively taming that inner voice that's always, chattering away.
It's exhausting sometimes.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
But when you can quiet it down, that's when you can start to hear those little whispers of intuition, those nudges, that deeper wisdom. That's what the Course calls God's word.
It is. It is. It's like making space for something much bigger to come through.
Exactly.
So, okay, let's really get into this. Like, why is it so important? What's the big deal about carving out this quiet time? What does it actually do for us?
Well, think about it. Our minds are pretty much always on, right? Like they're constantly processing information, reacting to everything around us, rehashing old stuff, worrying about the future. It's a lot.
And exhausting.
Oh, yeah, it is. And the Course often calls this the noise of the ego. It's that voice that's constantly judging, comparing, fearing. It's like having a radio stuck between stations, just this constant static.
Oh, I can picture it.
And in all that noise, it's almost impossible to hear anything else, especially that calm, guiding voice we were talking about.
Right. It's like trying to, I don't know, have a deep conversation with someone.
Yeah.
But there's like a screaming match happening right next to you.
Can't focus.
You can't connect.
Exactly.
So I guess what you're saying is this quiet reflection, it's about
creating that space
yeah.
for real connection to yourself, to that inner wisdom. It's like stepping out of the mental traffic jam and finding this quiet pond inside.
I love that image.
And in that stillness, you can really see yourself more clearly.
And hear more clearly, right?
Exactly. You can hear those subtle currents of guidance that are always there, but we just can't pick them up in all the noise.
So let's get practical here. How do we actually do this? I mean, life is busy, right? We've all got stuff going on, but the lesson does give us some really concrete things to try, and I think that's so helpful. So let's start with meditation. Now, for someone who's maybe never tried it, maybe a little intimidated by the idea, what does that even look like in this context?
Well, the way the Course talks about it, meditation at its core is really about just setting aside some dedicated time, even just a few minutes, to gently shift your attention inward.
Okay, that doesn't sound too scary.
No, not at all. It could be as simple as focusing on your breath, or maybe a calming image, or even just that feeling of being present in this moment.
Mm.
And the goal isn't to, like, completely stop your thoughts, because that's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right. It's more about learning to observe them without getting swept away.
Oh, I see.
Like, like watching clouds drift by in the sky.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the more you practice this, the more you start to become aware
Yeah.
of that quiet space that's already there underneath all the thoughts.
Mm.
And it also helps you get better at accessing it whenever you need to.
So it's like a muscle you're building.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And, the lesson encourages us to use this meditation time to be open to receiving God's word.
Right, like that intention.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like sending out a signal saying, okay, I'm here, I'm listening.
I like that. And another thing the lesson suggests is, going for walks in nature.
Oh, one of my favorites.
I know. There's something so naturally calming about being out in nature, isn't there?
Totally.
How do you think that ties into this idea of inner quiet?
Well, nature has this amazing ability to, like, mirror our inner state.
Oh, interesting.
So when we're surrounded by all that natural beauty, the trees, the water, the sky, it can actually help to quiet our own internal rhythm.
It's like it rubs off on us.
It does. It does. And by just paying attention, being present in that environment, we naturally shift our focus away from all our worries and anxieties, and it creates space for more insightful thoughts to come through.
It's like the outer peace helps to create the inner peace.
Exactly.
And then another suggestion the lesson gives us is journaling.
Yes.
And I've always found writings so powerful, for just getting clarity.
Me too.
How do you think that fits in with this whole idea of receiving divine guidance?
Well, journaling gives us a way to, like, capture and hold on to those insights that we might get during those quieter moments, maybe after a meditation or a walk in nature, because sometimes those insights are fleeting.
Oh, they are.
But when we write them down, it makes them more concrete, easier to remember.
It's like we're giving them a physical form.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's also a great way to kind of track your progress, to see how your thinking is changing over time.
And the lesson also talks about the power of using a daily affirmation.
Oh, yeah.
That phrase, "In quiet, I receive God's word today." And it sounds so simple,
Yeah.
but what's actually going on there? Why is repeating a phrase like that so helpful?
Well, affirmations are powerful because they help us to, like, really focus our minds and set our intention.
Okay.
So when we say, in quiet, I receive God's word today, we're basically telling ourselves, on a deeper level, that we're open and ready to receive that inner guidance.
It's like we're programming ourselves.
In a way, yes. It's
Yeah.
like planting a seed in our subconscious mind that will influence our awareness throughout the day. And the lesson suggests, repeating this affirmation, especially during those times when we're feeling stressed or distracted.
Right, because that's when we need it most.
Exactly. It's like a gentle reminder to come back to that intention of inner peace and receptivity.
It's like a reset button for the mind.
It is. It is.
I also wanted to touch on the idea of dedicated quiet time, because the lesson suggests setting aside at least 10 minutes each day. And I know for a lot of people that can sound like a lot. So how crucial is that, do you think, that dedicated time, especially if you're someone with, a busy schedule?
Well, I think consistency is really key when we're trying to build any new habit.
It is. It is.
And that's especially true for inner stillness. So even if it's just 10 minutes, setting that time aside signals to ourselves that this practice is important.
It's like making an appointment.
Exactly. An appointment with yourself.
I love that.
And during that time, the focus is really just on being present, without any agenda, without needing to accomplish anything. It's about creating that space where that deeper wisdom has a chance to, like, naturally bubble up to the surface.
Without us overthinking it.
Exactly.
As we've been talking about all this idea of quieting the mind, I keep thinking about the ego, because the lesson really frames it as a major source of that mental noise.
It is. It is.
Can you talk a little bit more about how the ego specifically blocks us from hearing that still, quiet voice inside?
Sure, sure. So the ego, the way the Course describes it, it operates from a place of fear, separation, and this need to be in control.
Okay.
And its main way of communicating with us is through this constant stream of thoughts, those worries, judgments, doubts, and all that chatter. It basically acts like a wall
A wall between us and what?
between us and that more subtle, peaceful voice of inner wisdom. Because that voice, it comes from a place of love and unity.
Right.
So when we actively seek out quiet, what we're really doing is stepping back from that ego's narrative, creating space for a more truthful perspective to come through.
It's like we're choosing which voice to listen to.
Exactly. It's a conscious choice.
But let's be real, for a lot of us, finding even 10 minutes of complete quiet can feel impossible. Life is it's so demanding.
It is.
But the lesson does address that, doesn't it? It suggests that we can create these little pockets of stillness throughout the day.
Absolutely.
So how can we actually do that? How can we weave those moments into our busy routines?
Well, it's really about becoming more mindful.
Mindful of what?
Mindful of those little in-between moments,
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you can't carve out a huge chunk of time, you can still pause for just a few seconds here and there.
Okay.
Like, before you jump into the next task, take a few deep breaths. Just focus on that sensation of breathing.
Okay. It's doable.
Or, while you're walking from one place to another, bring your awareness to your footsteps. Feel the ground beneath you. Even those little moments can make a difference.
Wow. It's like finding those little pauses within the chaos.
It is. It is. It's about training ourselves to recognize those opportunities for a mini reset.
I like that. A mini read.
Just a little sip of inner peace.
I love that. So, for our listeners who are, maybe listening to this and thinking, okay, I want to try this. What's a really simple exercise they can do to start integrating this lesson today?
Okay, here's a simple one. Find a comfortable place where you can sit or lie down undisturbed for just 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
Just close your eyes and just bring your attention to your breath. Notice that natural rhythm of inhaling and exhaling. And as thoughts come up, which they will, don't judge them. Just acknowledge them like watching a car pass by and gently guide your focus back to your breath.
Back to the breath.
And during those 5 minutes, you can also silently repeat that affirmation we were talking about. In quiet, I receive God's word today. A few times, if it feels right.
Okay.
And when the 5 minutes are up, just notice how you feel. Don't expect any big revelation. Just be present with whatever is there. That's a powerful first step.
It is. It is. And as a final thought for everyone to consider, think about this. How can you, in your own unique way, weave more of those moments of stillness, no matter how small, into your day? How might that change your ability to tap into that deeper wisdom that's already within you?
That's the real journey, isn't it?
It is. It's like a constant exploration, a practice of turning inward, even amidst all the outward busyness of life.
It is. It is.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on this deep dive into Lesson 125. We hope you found it helpful.
It was my pleasure.
And we hope it gave you some practical tools to bring more quiet and clarity into your life. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to Daily Harmony for more explorations into A Course in Miracles. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
See you then.
Bye for now. Bye.